Hi, this is David Davis from Actual Tech Media. We're here at the Emerging Technology Summit, and I'm excited to be joined by Mr. Matt Matthews, who's the co-founder and VP of Product Management at Plexxi. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks very much, glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being on. So, we've just been talking a little bit about Plexxi. I'm just learning about Plexxi myself, and I think it's great for this summit here because it's emerging technology and it's really innovative, and I know our audience will be excited to learn more. So why don't you tell us first, who is Plexxi and what problem do you all solve?
Absolutely, yeah. So Plexxi is a venture-funded data center solution, network solution provider. And first of all, we're really excited to be here. We just announced our partnership with Deltaware, and we're really excited for them to be taking us into the Minnesota market in this area. So we're really excited about that. So we really focus on helping customers that are struggling with modernizing their data centers, especially around hyperconvergence or IP-based storage. Our networks are built specifically to integrate into those environments and allow them to essentially understand where their storage traffic is and give it its own separate private network, even though it's still converged. So we bring them the benefits, the ease of use of convergence, lights out management, auto configuration, all of that stuff. But the assurance of knowing that their storage traffic isn't going to hog up all their network when they're building converged systems and converged networks.
Okay, so kind of to back up in the traditional, SAN days,
Yep.
with iSCSI, you might take multiple 1 gig NICs and you dedicate a couple to iSCSI SAN traffic.
Right.
And then when companies move to 10 gig, they run into a problem with that. And with hyperconvergence, you have an even more complexity because you don't have a dedicated SAN anymore. You just have, say, a VSA, a virtual storage appliance, that is your distributed storage. So how can Plexxi help in that situation?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we're running into a lot is when customers are struggling, especially if you back up to the fiber channel SAN days, the SAN was always kind of hidden from the Ethernet folks, and it did a lot of stuff that no one even knew it was doing, like metadata synchronization and all the replication traffic and all that kind of stuff was just in the SAN, and no one really thought about it. So when you move over into the iSCSI world, again, when you went from at 1 gig, it wasn't necessarily a big problem, but now you got 10 gig and you've got all this traffic shared and commingled with your compute traffic. And it isn't really feasible to follow the best practices of most vendors, which is build separate physical isolated networks to ensure that that critical storage traffic isn't impacted or has the best performance. When we get to hyperconverge, it becomes even harder because you can't really split out the traffic at that point. So what we really do is focus on learning from the hyperconverged environment directly through our integrations. Where are these storage VMs, and not only where they are, but what they might need from the network at any given point in time. If they're doing a cluster rebuild or specific events that have large network impacts, we can detect those and make sure not only that it has its own network, but that for any specific given amount of time, it has the right amount of bandwidth that it needs.
So Plexxi is a hardware switch.
Yep.
With some really smart software,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep.
And you all actually talk to, for example, Simplivity or Nutanix's
That's right.
management platforms to find out where the VSAs, where the storage is, and then do what with it exactly on the network.
Yeah, right. So once we learn from whether it's Prism or from vCenter, where the storage VMs are, we essentially give them their own private isolated network. And we have an ability to isolate things down to the physical wires. So if you want to say this storage traffic never gets shared with anybody else, you can do that. Then you can also detect events, and events could be, like I said, a cluster rebuild, for example, could be something that takes a lot of network bandwidth at a given point in time. So the management systems will tell us that this is happening, and we will go and ensure there's adequate bandwidth in the storage part of the network for that time.
Very nice. So, we've done multiple audience surveys, especially around hyperconvergence and hyperconverged storage, and the uptick is tremendous. People are excited about it and implementing it. So, if they're whether they have hyperconvergence or not, what is the starting point, or how do people get started with Plexxi?
Yeah, and what we see is most of the people that are looking at hyperconvergence really want to start small. They want to start and solve a specific problem, whether it's a VDI or a Splunk use case or a big data use case, really single workload, what we call single workload case. And so we have a starter pack with most of the hyperconvergence vendors where you're buying some nodes for your hyperconvergence devices, and there's a switch that is going to go along with that anyway. So we have built that into a starter pack bundle as a way to start. Okay. It's already pre-integrated, so you don't have to worry about network configuration or anything like that. So you get all the benefits of kind of ease of use that you're buying hyperconvergence hyperconvergence for. And then really where we shine is as you start to build more workloads, get into multi-workload environments or multi-rack deployments, which is really what we see. People get so hooked on the ease of use of hyperconvergence that they want to start putting more workloads on there. Then they get into these multi-rack deployments, and that's when the benefits, the full benefits of our solution really start to show up.
Very nice. So for more information, what do you recommend people do to learn about Plexxi?
Definitely go to our website, www.plexxi.com, and reach out to us in any way on social media at Plexxi Inc. as well is another great way. So.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks so much, Matt. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Dave. Nice to meet you.